Greetings! Welcome to my video where I review and compare two of my favorite games by using my player profile. I would like to talk about myself first. At the age of 20, I'm someone who encountered his first digital game in the womb. My mother and father were playing Drakan Order of the Flame when I was not born yet. Naturally, I played Drakan first when my brain started to understand his world. Next game which I played was Jazz Jackrabbit. It can be described as a fast platform shooter for those who do not know the game. But these were not the games that I will be comparing with the help of my player profile today. However, the fact that I have already told you this will help you see my player profile in a more logical frame later in the video. First of all, let me summarize my player profile. Test identifies me as Bart, Bounty Hunter. I also noticed the Bart part, but the Bounty Hunter is a bit pretentious for me personally. As you can see from the graphic, I am a player whose main features are action and immersion. Before solving the test, I was aware of the immersion part, but I could not imagine that I was such an action lover. On the other hand, my social status is also quite high. I can say that I am someone who likes to make friends in the game and to be included in the community. And yes, mastery and achievement is very low. This was evident from the fact that I couldn't finish long games or get bored easily. Actually, it's not that hard to tell what kind of games I like after seeing my graphic. Action games with a linear story, not giving me much choice but a very solid story, this is exactly what I meant to express my gaming taste. The first examples that come to mind are games like Last of Us, Uncharted, God of War, Devil May Cry, and yes, I played and love all of them. But today, the two games I will talk about in the video are different games. Games that I can describe as my favorite games recently. They are Katana Zero and Ghost Runner. And yes, I am aware that both games include katanas. I think I have a special interest in katanas. Let's start with Katana Zero game first. According to Steam store page, Katana Zero defined as a fast-paced platformer action game. It was a game that I fell in love with the first time I saw it. I only saw the action part while falling in love. I didn't even know about the wonderful story that lay inside it. Inside the game, we play a samurai who is a war veteran and is being treated, and we perform some tasks in return for treatment. But seriously, it's not that superficial. Now, let's start examining the game according to my player profile. First, of course, action components. As you can see, I'm a distraction freak with 83%, and as you can imagine, Katana Zero is the life of destruction and chaos. In the game, we pass through opponents by slowing down the time with our katana or making stunts. And yes, we are really passing through them. The action elements do not end with this. We can also make use of the items in the environment and further increase the chaos. Even playing a part in the game from the beginning is very enjoyable because there are usually different ways of killing the enemies and you can progress. I don't know for what psychological reasons I love destruction so much, but this is as relaxing for me as meditating. Second, excitement. I told you how easily I can get bored with games. The games that have too many side missions and a wide open world make me bored a little bit and make me shy away from the game. The longer action does not stop and the faster the game progresses, the more likely I will like it. The action elements of Katana Zero are exactly that. In addition, the occasional dialogue offers a nice breathing opportunity. Now let's come to a point that I do not expect to see from this game. Great story. Yes, a very great story. It might be a little cliché, however, the dialogues in which we learn the story are made for the game to present this to our character and us, and to identify ourselves with the character. As you can see from my immersion stats, I'm a person with a very high fantasy status. Seriously, as it is written, the games that I feel as another character draws me in too much. In the story part, I am someone who likes to experience games like a movie. Stories with a certain beginning and ending have always attracted my attention. This is exactly the case with Katana Zero. The plot is no different from a TV show or a movie. You wonder what will happen. The characters are realistic and the dialogues are really logical. It is enough to talk about Katana Zero this much. Now let's move on to our next game. Ghost Runner is a game that has not been out for long. It was a game I've been waiting for a long time. I love the cyberpunk atmosphere and its fast pacing made it into my wishlist. And although I know the game will be difficult, I was determined to complete this game. And yes, I was able to finish the game. The action elements that I mentioned in the previous game are valid in the game. In addition to this, since it's a 3D game, there are also very nice platforming elements in the game, especially it's extremely fun to take the obstacles with our hook. I do not want to mention action part of the game because what I said in Katana Zero is exactly valid here. If you look at the immersion, I cannot say that the story is very well constructed. Rather, it is not conveyed very well. But thanks to gameplay, you can feel like the character is you. So easy to get in the mood. The main issues I want to touch on here, mastery component and achievement component. As you can see from the table, both statues are crawling on the ground, especially in games where I die a lot, like Dark Souls, and hardness of these games make me scared to play them a lot. And actually, I don't think I'm very talented to play this game. But oddly enough, in games that I love action or the story, even the difficulty or dying over and over cannot prevent me from playing. As you can see, there is not a second that I can progress without dying in Ghost Runner. But the action is enough to keep me in the game. In addition, the power stat you can see in the achievement component was one of the items that made me love this game very much. The game is very good at making us feel powerful. We gain new OP abilities as we progress in the game, and they make you feel very good. Games that can create this feeling usually manage to make me play themselves. And lastly, Jazz-Jackrabbit and Drakan, the two games I mentioned at the beginning, I think they determined what kind of games I would like. Fast platformers such as Jazz-Jackrabbit and story-based action games like Drakan have been my favorite games in my entire gaming history. Thank you for listening and watching. Stay with the game!